On page 34, just some introduction. We have in the previous discussion, the Mishnah, a case that the person can have one action involved with 4 different violations, such as if a person have a illicit relation with a woman, he can be in a 4 violations, such as wife of the brother, the married woman, sister of his wife's sister, and also nida. So we explain that a person needs to bring an offering according to that prohibition. So the Gemarrah asks, page 34, Uman haytana de itlei isur kolel v'isur mosif v'isur bat achat. We have a general discussion, which is a concept of isur halal isur, if one prohibition come at the top of the other or not. So the moment the person committed that type of sin, it's a wrap-up of many. So you treat it by one way, but here you see that when one person, let's talk about Reuven and Shimon. Reuven betrothed his wife Rachel, so automatically she is prohibited to his brother Shimon because she is a married woman and she is the wife of the brother. Okay, so it means isur batachat, they are together. Now Shimon came in and he betrothed Leah, so Leah is now a sister of Rachel. So therefore that act of betrothal, Shimon is prohibited to all the other sisters of Rachel because they said is the wife's sister, biblical prohibition. It means that she is now, it's one prohibition at the top of the other. So up to this point Rachel was allowed to her husband Reuven. The moment she is nida, she is prohibited to her husband. So therefore she have this nida prohibition not only to her husband but also to his brother. That's the concept of mosif, in addition. So who is the Tana that hold all of that? Amar Rav Yudah Amar Rav Rabbi Meiri Detnan. This is Tractate Yevamot, page 13. יש אוכל אכילה אחת וחייב עליה 4 חטאות ואשם אחד, טמא שאכל חלב ונותר מן המקודשים ביום הכיפורים. So you have some situation that a person does one act of violation of eating, even the olive bark eating, right? That's based on the Rashi Tractate Shabbat, page 102. So the moment he ate that, he is already liable for 4 sin offering and 1 guilt offering. So for example, someone who's rendering ritually impure, that ate fat. Fat is, according to what the Gemara in Chulin, page 49, tells us, based on Leviticus 7, it's someone who ate fat. If it's intentional, he deserves karet. The Torah used the term that soul shall be cut off, which means that it's a heavenly punishment for that. So if a person is a ritual impurity and ate chelev, and it's also notar min ha mukdashi, so it's also the notar, the leftover from the consecrated offering, and at the top of that it happens on Yom Kippur. So you have here a list of 4: chelev, notar, Yom Kippur, and kodashim. 4 at a state of ritual impurity. So he needs to bring 4 sin offering. Then you have the 5th one, that if it was intentional, he needs to receive correct because he was misuse a consecrated item. So for that he need to bring guilt offering. Rabbi Meir Omer, אם הייתה שבת והוציאו בפיו חייב. If, just for the sake of understanding, if he is in a case that he ate this fat on Shabbat and he took it from private domain to public domain and then he slaughtered it, he needs to bring another offering for desecration of Shabbat. That's, if you remember, we studied in Shabbat, page 73, that carrying from one domain to another is a violation of Shabbat. if it was intentional. אמרו לו, אינו min Hashem. This is not in the same category. So it means it's because of the caring that happened while he eats. So you cannot put it under one category. So here the Gemara asks, in comparing to our discussion, Rabbi Meir aliba deman. So according to Rabbi Meir, which of his teacher, Rabbi Yoshua or Rabbi Eliezer, did he rule that the men are liable to a sin offering sacrifice? I aliba de Rabbi Yoshua ha'amar ta'a bidvar mitzvah patur. If you go by the Rabbi Yoshua, he says that one who made a mistake and sinned while attempting to perform a mitzvah, he exempt from the sin offering. Ela aliba de Rabbi Eliezer. You have to say that this is according to Rabbi Eliezer, that he said that if he made a mistake in something that it's mitzvah and he didn't do it, he need to bring a sin offering. Ibait eima le'olam aliba de Rabbi Yoshua, כי כאמר רבי יהושע טעה בדבר מצווה פטור הנמי לגבי תינוקות זמנו בהול, אבל היי דאין זמנו בהול לא. So all of that applies to doing the brit milah of the babies, that the person wants to make sure that we don't pass the 8 days. So if you have two babies, one he needs to do it on Shabbat and one in Sundays, and he mixed them one instead of the others, so Rabbi Yeshua hold that he's exempt from sin offering because he thought to do it on Shabbat. But here, when a person occupied the mitzvah of getting married, since it's not a set up day to do it, so Rabbi Yeshua did not exempt him from sin offering. He should be more scrupulous with that. V'arei truma de'en zmano bahul. But there is a case of one sin with eating truma that where his time is not rash, kapatar. So Rabbi Yoshua exempt him from paying Keren and Chomesh. Ditnan, that's Mishnah in Tractate Tלמוד, chapter 8. If Kohen haya ochel bitruma, he was eating a truma, ונודע שהוא בן גרושה או בן חלוצה, and now it discovered that his son of divorcee or son of חלוצה, רבי אליעזר מחייב קרן וחומש, ורבי יהושע פוטר. רבי אליעזר you have to bring a principal plus a fifth, and Rabbi Yeshua exempt him because he made a mistake while attempting to perform the mitzvah. So there is no dealing here, but when we must perform the mitzvah of eating truma, yet we see that Rabbi Yeshua exempt him. So Itmarala Amar Rabbi Barabaye Hacha Bitruma Be'erev HaPesach Dizmana Bahul. You talk about Erev Pesach, everybody have to rush to prepare, and this is something that's made out of chametz, that's prohibited in the Pesach. You have to eat it before the time of the prohibition of eating it. So therefore, you can say the same example of ta'abed var mitzvah. Bait eima is another option to say be'isur bat achat, that this is the one of the prohibition that is all together. Ve'aliba de Rabbi Shimon, that he disputed and he hold that the whole idea of Mosif v'kolel is it's not that does not take effect upon a pre-existing one. Even the second prohibition is more extensive or more inclusive than the first. So he will agree to our Mishnah rulings because our Mishnah is discussing a case in which all four prohibitions are take effect simultaneously. That's basically the Rashi. Bishlama kulu mashkachat leu deshavinu shaliach, that they made an emissary to betroth the two sisters, one to Reuven, one to Shimon, v'shavu leinu shaliach, and the sisters made an emissary to receive the money for them. Upaga shaliach b'shaliach. So this emissary met the other guy, the emissary. So it means that both act of betroth happen the same time. So therefore, all three prohibition, which is married woman, sister of the wife of the brother, and the wife's sister, all three prohibition happen together. How that happened? אמר רב, שופעות מתוך 13, בשופעות מתוך 13 על 13. We talk about the case where the women are streaming blood from before the 13th birthday of a man until after the 13th birthday. So it means that in this type of case, le'ichayuve inhu, so it means the moment that this boy entered the domain of mitzvot, the bar mitzvah age, מתוך 12 לאחר 12 le'ichayuve inhi. So women, they get bat mitzvah 12, so they have to, so it means, imagine first day of Tishrei, which is Rosh Hashanah. You have a twin brothers. And the next year, the same time, the same date, first day of the year, to different parents, they have twin sisters. Okay? And therefore, these 4 will be bar bas mitzvahs the same day, right? First of Tishrei, all 4. So, meaning, now, in the eve of Rosh Hashanah on that year, that these boys tomorrow are supposed to be bar mitzvah, and these girls tomorrow are supposed to be bat mitzvah, they receive the money for being betrothed to each other, in order for them to take in effect the next day, when all will be bar bas mitzvahs, right? Meanwhile, these 2 girls start having blood at that time, and that's eve of Rosh Hashanah, and it's continue on that time. So it means that you have all the prohibition, 4 prohibition together, which is married woman, the wife of the brother, the sister's wife, and the nida prohibition, all happen at one time. Alright? So that's the idea of wrapping up all together. So it's a hypothetical case, but it shows you when all the prohibitions can take an effect at the same time. So the Mishnah said, mafrishim otam, you have to separate those women from their husband for 3 months. Usually women do not get pregnant just by the first act of the cohabitation, especially if it's the time that she loses her virginity. So it's hard to believe that from that one time she get pregnant. So they said, which means the same times they lost the virginity, the men did it several times. And then it may happen that then by the second, the third time, they get pregnant. And therefore you need 3 months to wait. Rabbi Chia teaches on page 33, if you count all this, it's not 16, it's 32, because each one of them it's twice. He is said that each act of the illicit relation, he is said that each of every individual effort involving an act of cohabitation, there are even more offering to which each person is liable. So, the bekoach rishon kachashiv. You talk about the first of this action, they are liable. Here too, the Braita speaks about the first chatat obligation incurred the first cohabitation and no more. So therefore, and since the Gemara said that the virgin woman will not get pregnant from the first time, Amar le Raval and Rav Nachman, page 34b, V'hatamar bebi'a rishona I abra. This is a text in the book of Bereshit, chapter 38. I'm sure that you are familiar. It's the story of Yehuda, the 4th son of Leah and Yaakov. The Torah tells us that Yehuda have three sons, Onan and Sheila. Married Tamar. The Torah called it the evil in the eye of the Lord, which is lack of production of children. and God took away his life. Then his brother Onan lost his life because of the same way, and then Yehuda sent Tamar away. Later she pretended to be prostitute, and they have an intercourse, and as a result they have the twin that became the forefather of the reign of King David. Amar le Tamar be'etzba ma'acha. So he said that Tamar broke her virginity with a finger prior to intercourse, and due to this she became pregnant from the first act of intercourse. So that's the way Rashi said. אמר רבי יצחק כל מואכות של בית רבי תמר שמן. ולמה נקרא שמן תמר? על שם תמר שמאחה באצבעה. So basically it was a kind of honor to use this name Tamar, because they wanted to have their husbands dedicate their lives to Torah and Mitzvot, and therefore they did it in that way. Veha havu Er ve'onan. But you see here the story of Er and Onan, that they have a relation with Tamar before Yehuda. Er ve'onan shimshu shlo kedarkan. So according to Rashi and others, it was a relationship, I think it's called anal relationship. Anyway, it's not in the regular way. Meitivei, כל 24 חודש, דש מבפנים ויורן בחוץ. They use the term of Shabbat, מלאכות, דש and זורע, but the idea is that the final act, it was outside of her body. דברי רבי אליעזר אמרו לו, sage said, הללו אינו אלא כמעשה ער ועונן. So this is something that is despised in the eye of the Lord. There is numerous sources of the prohibition of spit the semen, and therefore the Gemara said in Idab, page 13. So therefore you have to say that Er and Onan have a regular relation with Tamar. The only thing is that they completed the act outside of her body. כמעשה ער ועונן ולא כמעשה ער ועונן. כמעשה ער ועונן והעין באה אלה של אחיו ושכחת ארצה, ולא כמעשה ער ועונן דילו התם שלו כדרכה ואחר כדרכה. So obviously when they use the word shichet arza, it's applied to the semen. It's not just the literal meaning, but the Maharsha said it was really zera levatala, or they did it in a manner that she cannot have children. There's a few different explanations what exactly happened. Bishlam ha'onan Bichtiv, Bei, Veshichet Arza, Er Menalan. We understand the story of Onan, the second one, but how about Er? How do you know that he was seen? Why you use the word Gam? Means the same sin. השחטת זרע לבטלה. Bishlam ha'onan mishum ki lo yeh lo zara. So Onan, the second brother, he knew that the name of the child is not after him because he is there to levirate in our manners to the oldest one. אלא ער מייתה מעבד אחי, כדי שלא תתעבר ויכחיש אופיה. הער was selfish. He wants to make sure that she will not become pregnant and become less beautiful as a result of her pregnancy. So he wanted her to stay forever. I try to tell a lot of people, Raphael will tell you it's true, that when they're dating or searching, they should not look so much at the beauty. Right, Raphael?
Yeah.
And why I'm saying that, it's because the moment, we are blessed, my wife and I, with 5 kids, so I have some life experiences. The reality of life is the moment you have pregnancy, it's a change the status of the body. The person you met on the first date is not the same person when she's getting pregnant, etc., and after the delivery, etc. So that's the beginning of the journey of love. see how far you are with sincere love to that person, and therefore you have to be careful not to be like Onan that was searching for Tamar's beauty, and therefore when he realized that she may get pregnant from him, he better just throw the sperm on the ground. That's the way the Gemara said. Tanu Rabbanan, the sages taught. The verse stated in Leviticus chapter 15, Ota. The full pasuk said, Ve'isha asher yishkav ish ota shichvat zera, and a woman with whom a man shall lie giving seed, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the evening. So the term with whom, ota, prat lechala, exclude a bride who does not become ritually impure. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. וחכמים אומרים, פרט לשלא כדרכה, which means in a not normal way. But regular bride, she needs to have a tvila like all other women. אמר להון ברד רב נחמן לרב נחמן, למה כסבר רבי יהודה, התורה חסה על תכשיטי חלה. So, because the Torah doesn't want to have the water over all of her jewelry. אמר לה, לפי שאני שם מתעברת מביאה ראשונה. ומה יקרה מפליגי רבנן סברי שכבת זרע פרט להרעה, אותה פרט לשלא כדרכה, רבי סבר שלא כדרכה והרעה, משכבת זרע נפקה. אותה פרט לחלה. So to exclude the bride. כי את ערבין, so now we're talking about other manner of relations that that intercourse cannot result in conception. So, כי את ערבין, when Ravin came to Babylon, to Eretz Yisrael, from Eretz Yisrael to Babylon, אמר רבי יוחנן, כל ששעתה אחר בעלה 10 שנים ונישאת, שוב אינה יולדת. A woman, after the husband is no longer among the living, and 10 years later she marries someone else, so she cannot get pregnant. So for sure the few explanations. Rashi go, so the Gemara limited that, and he said, אמר רב נחמן לא שנו אלא שאין דעתה להינשא. אבל דעתה להינשא מתעברת. Again, in her mind, if she think about married someone, she can be pregnant. אמר לה רבה לבת רב חיסדא. That's the wife that married after 10 years from the passing of the first husband. כמרנני רבנן הבטריך. The people who will, how do you say it, bad mouth, bring rumors, how these women have children with their husband after 10 years without husband. Maybe it's a secret boyfriend, secret adultery at the time of her being widowed. אמרה לענה דעתאי עלה חוואי. You know, in Arabic you say ana bahibbak, sahibti khillu. Yeah? So the idea is that I have my mind all the time over that. This is one of the, Raphael, this is for you. It's a song by the Farid al-Atrash. It's an Egyptian singer. It's called Mathafish. You know that song? Mathafish. You have another song, it's Tiginusu el Ammar, Ananusu intanus, Uminehtab Ashajar, Arfin, Asmina Ubas. So basically on that song, she's saying that she's always thinking of him, even they are not together. So anyway, that's the meaning here.
Beautiful song.
What?
Beautiful song.
So there's a Gemarrah in Bava Batra that said in page 12. You like Farid al-Atrash, no?
Okay.
So. I think your father and friends like it. Anyway, there's a Gemarrah in Bava Batra, page 12. They give us a story about the daughter of Rav Chisda when she was a young girl. So she was on her father's laps when he was teaching two students, Rava and Rami Bar Chama. So he asked her, like a little girl, which one of these two you want to have as husband? So she said, I want both. It's a little girl. So the truth is, it happens that at the beginning she married Rami Bar Chama, and then when he passed, she married Rava. So since Rava was already married to another woman when the Rami Bar Chama passed, so the second marriage wasn't right away. But Tosfot said that she always expecting that. So one woman came before Rav Yosef. אמרה לו, אנא שהיתי אחר בעלי 10 שנים, וילדתי. It was 10 years after my husband passed away, and I married the new husband, and I have children. אמר לה, ביתי אל תוציאי לעז על דברי חכמים. He said, my daughter, do not cast aspirations on the statement of the sages. אמרה לי. So then she admitted, and she confesses to him, see how the sages are smart. And she said, לנוכרי נבעלתי. She said in her confession, I had sexual intercourse with a Gentile during those 10 years. So here is the truth come out. And the Ritva even said that she didn't really have sex with him, she just desired to have with him. Anyway, but in a point, some of the Farshim said that in the point of just the idea of she had it in her mind, that's already make her one that have a potential to have children. Now, in the Mishnah we learn that those women that was changed by unintentional manner, when they come to the chuppah, they need to wait 3 months in order to return to their husband. So tomorrow we're going to deal with the very end of this parak, how exactly we examine this time, this different of the status of the 3 months.
לשולוים מלאכי השולוים מלאכי